Why did Jungkook's smile seem different this time? As the gates of the South Korean military base swung open on June 11, 2025, millions of fans worldwide held their breath. Cameras zoomed in. Armies waited, fingers hovering over record buttons. And then, there he was, Jungkook, the youngest and arguably most beloved member of BTS, stepping out into the sunlight for the first time in nearly 2 years. But within seconds of the long-awaited moment, a storm began to brew. Not from the military facility, not from officials, but from within the fandom itself. Because something didn't feel right. Yes, Jungkook is back. But is he really the same? His hair was longer, his posture a little stiffer, his eyes, some said, emptier. And as the photos flooded social media, a chilling realization began to ripple through army circles around the globe. This wasn't the same boy who had left in December 2023. The golden magne had returned, but a shadow clung to him. Could it be the toll of military life? Or is there something darker at play? Jungkook, often praised for his infectious smile and raw sincerity, stood beside Jimin, his close friend and fellow BTS member. The two held massive bouquets and gave their usual polite bows. But eagle-eyed fans quickly pointed out what the mainstream media glossed over. Jungkook barely spoke. In every video, Jimin took the lead. Jungkook nodded, smiled, waved, but never said a word. And the silence? It was deafening. Soon, hashtags started trending, not just celebratory ones like hashtag welcome back Jungkook or hashtag golden magne returns, but ones laced with unease. Hashtag what happened to Jungkook? Hashtag is he okay? And the most controversial of all, hashtag dark side of magne. People began dissecting every frame. One video showed Jungkook looking down for an uncomfortably long time as reporters shouted questions. Another clip caught a flash of tension in his jaw as he posed for fans. Side-by-side comparisons emerged online. Jungkook before, Woml versus after. And what began as mere curiosity evolved into a full-blown theory war. Some blamed the military. Others hinted at internal friction within BTS. But then came the real twist. A now viral post from a former soldier claiming to have served in the same unit as Jungkook. The post was cryptic, full of ellipses and veiled references. He wasn't like other idols. Quiet, focused. But there was one day, I'll never forget the look in his eyes. Like something broke. It didn't take long for conspiracy threads to explode across platforms. Did Jungkook face bullying? Was he treated differently because of his fame? Or did something personal happen during his service that changed him forever? The mystery deepens when fans realize something else. He wasn't wearing his usual earrings. A trivial detail? Not to ARMY. To many, it symbolized something bigger. He always said those were a piece of his identity. One tweet read, "Did the military strip that from him? Or did he choose to leave that part behind?" And there was one more thing that sent the fandom spiraling. Jungkook's Instagram bio was suddenly blank.
No emojis.
No golden. Just silence. This, from the idol who used to share late-night song covers, workout videos, and emotional captions that often left fans in tears.
Now,
nothing. Not even a welcome back post. Industry insiders refused to comment. Big Hit Music issued the expected, sterile press release thanking fans for their support and encouraging everyone to give Jungkook space. But space was the last thing fans wanted. They wanted answers. The ARMY, known for its loyalty and love, was now gripped by something different. Fear, not fear of scandal, but fear that the Jungkook they knew and loved had changed beyond recognition. That behind the flower bouquets and staged smiles, there was a story untold. That perhaps, somewhere in the shadows of barracks and early morning drills, the golden magne lost something he couldn't get back. Could this explain the timing of RM's cryptic 2025 post, hinting at BTS's long-awaited reunion? Some believe it was optimism. Others now wonder, was it a signal? A message that the group is trying to hold itself together amid personal changes too deep to voice publicly? Jin and J-Hope are already back, resuming schedules and sharing lighthearted posts. RM, always the group's philosopher, continues to give fans glimpses into his thoughts through carefully curated photos and captions. But Jungkook? He remains unusually quiet. And in a fandom where silence speaks louder than words, that quiet has become a thunderclap. Even Suga, expected to complete his public service stint soon, hasn't commented directly. The group that once lived and breathed together now feels like 7 islands, drifting, but hopefully not breaking apart. So here we are. Jungkook has returned. But with him came something we didn't expect. A mirror we weren't ready to look into. A version of Jungkook that challenges the very image we held onto during his absence. Is he just older, more mature? Or has something truly shifted? One thing is clear. This moment marks more than a return from military service. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one that won't be written with the same glittering ink of BTS's golden years. It's a chapter darker, deeper, and infinitely more human, and perhaps that's what makes it beautiful. But until Jungkook chooses to speak for himself, the world will keep watching, waiting, wondering. Because when an idol known for his light comes back with shadows in his eyes, you can't help but ask, what did he leave behind in the barracks of silence? And more importantly, can he ever get it back? Some fans still hold out hope that this darkness is merely the result of transition. After all, 2 years in military service isn't just a hiatus. It's isolation. It's discipline. It's waking up before sunrise, folding uniforms with precision, standing in silence, and being treated not as a global icon but as just another man in boots and camouflage. But others argue that this is more than just post-service adjustment. This is identity fracture, and the timing couldn't be more delicate. With BTS poised to reunite later this year, the industry is watching closely. Will the group that once redefined the global music scene come back with the same fiery energy? Or will we be introduced to 7 versions of BTS? Older, wiser, bruised in places we may never fully understand. For Jungkook, the expectations are crushing. Dubbed the Golden Magne for his all-around perfection, his vocals, dance, visuals, charisma, and discipline, he has always carried more than just his own dreams. He carries the hopes of a generation. He is the embodiment of K-pop excellence, the boy who debuted at 15 and somehow managed to never fall, never falter, until now. Because what the fans are noticing isn't about haircuts or silence alone. It's in the details. The way his shoulders sag slightly, like someone who's holding more than just his military-issued duffel bag. The way his eyes seem to search for something, even in the presence of cameras. Even when standing beside someone as close to him as Jimin, it's in the unspoken. And maybe that's what scares people the most. That the most expressive member of BTS, the one who once wore his heart on his sleeve and his love for ARMY in every gesture, is suddenly harder to read. Comment sections across social media are a mix of celebration and concern. I've been crying all day, but something feels off. He's smiling, but it doesn't reach his eyes. He's back, but I feel like I lost him. Can we please stop acting like everything is okay? This is not the Jungkook we knew. What happened in there? But Jungkook isn't talking. Not yet. And that silence is driving the online world into overdrive. Is it trauma? Is it transformation? Whispers are now turning into speculations about possible solo activities. A new album? A dark concept? Some believe this is part of a strategic rebranding. A matured Jungkook, the evolved artist, the phoenix from the flames. But there are those who fear it's not strategy, it's reality. That what we're witnessing isn't creative direction, but emotional residue. Perhaps the ARMY uniform has come off, but not everything from those months can be easily shed. What was he thinking during those long nights without a stage? How many times did he hum melodies under his breath in silence, missing the roar of the crowd? And how does someone who once stood before sold-out stadiums return to being just another man, only to be expected to perform again with the same smile, the same fire? We forget. Idols are humans before they are anything else. But in Jungkook's case, that humanity now seems more visible than ever, and it's raw. There's an emotional gravity pulling at this narrative. It's more than gossip. It's more than curiosity. It's a collective ache. The pain of watching someone beloved carry the weight of expectation, nationalism, duty, fame, and identity, and possibly bend under it. And if that's true, if Jungkook has indeed come back changed, then perhaps the real question isn't what happened to him, but can we let him evolve, even if it means letting go of the version we held onto for so long? Because here lies the uncomfortable truth. Maybe we weren't ready for a different Jungkook. Maybe we expected him to walk back out of those military gates and slot right back into the light, into the songs, into our screens and hearts without pause. But maybe, just maybe, he needs time. Or space. Or something we've never given him before. Permission to not be perfect. As the digital conversation rages on, a few quiet voices are rising above the noise. Whatever he's been through, one fan writes, I just hope he knows he doesn't owe us the old Jungkook. We'll love the one who came back, too. It's this quiet empathy that might eventually break the spell of fear and suspicion. That might bring healing, not just for Jungkook, but for a fanbase learning to embrace change, growth, and the unknown. So where do we go from here? We wait. Not for the comeback announcement, not for the next V Live or Instagram story, but for the moment Jungkook decides to open the door again, on his terms. Until then, we sit in the echo of his silence, wondering what the uniform took, what it taught, and what it left behind. And when the stage lights come back on, the world will watch not for the perfect high note or flawless choreography, but for that one unguarded smile. Because that smile, when it comes, will tell us everything. But what if that smile never returns the way we remember it? What if the Jungkook that reemerges is not a version, not a phase, but a revelation? A shift so irreversible, it forces both the industry and his fandom to reimagine who he truly is. Not the sculpted image they worshipped, but the unfiltered man they never expected. Because let's be honest, who is Jungkook without BTS? Without the makeup, the cameras, the carefully constructed choreography of stardom? That question haunts every frame of his reappearance. And no amount of stage lighting or award show applause can answer it. Only he can. And maybe, just maybe, that's what this silence is, a resistance to being defined again too quickly. It's no secret that Jungkook has always walked a tightrope between global fame and personal freedom. From his earliest days as the baby of BTS, every step he took was under the microscope. Every tattoo analyzed. Every gaze, every lyric, every moment of silence interpreted to death. Even his solo projects, wildly successful and emotionally rich, were not seen as extensions of his soul, but as content drops in a consumption cycle. And now that he's back, the expectation to perform again, emotionally and literally, is louder than ever. But here's the twist, the most uncomfortable one yet. What if Jungkook doesn't want to perform right now? What if the boy who spent a decade dancing in front of flashing lights, smiling through pain, and giving all of himself to the world simply wants to be silent? What if he's not hiding something dark, but processing something real? Something we have no right to rush. This is the paradox of idol culture. We want them vulnerable, but never weak. We want authenticity, but we don't know what to do with the raw, unfiltered version when it doesn't look good on camera. Jungkook's quiet return has become a mirror, not just of him, but of us. Of a fandom, an industry, a generation obsessed with access and afraid of distance. And still, the clues keep coming. Fans notice that Jungkook didn't immediately follow back any brand accounts. No new music tease. No live stream. No Weverse message. Just stillness. Some believe he's about to break his silence in an explosive way. A surprise single, a dark concept MV, maybe even a tell-all documentary. Others think this is the beginning of a longer pause, an introspective journey that might take him away from the stage longer than expected. And then there are those who fear something deeper, that he may be questioning it all, the price of fame, the machine of expectation, the shape of his own identity outside 7 letters, BTS. And if that's true, it raises a question the fandom has never dared to ask out loud. What if Jungkook walks away? That's the real fear underneath the hashtags. Not scandal, not controversy, but loss. The loss of something sacred, something beautiful, something shared. Because whether you join the fandom during Dope, Fake Love, or 7, there is a moment where Jungkook reached through your screen, through the performance, and gave you something real. And now the question is, can we give that same grace back to him? We want to come back, but maybe what Jungkook needs is a becoming, not of a new persona, but of his full self.